Hi, this is Tina Grzinski, your efficiency expert with Excelling Your Business. Are you ready to do your Christmas cards and don't want to have to handwrite all your envelopes? Excel can help you convert these addresses into mailing labels very quickly. Within less than 10 minutes you can be all set and ready to stick your labels on. So here's a file that I have, and what it is it's very important when you're creating your files to have every column be its own set of data. So for my first name, I have here all the first names. If I have a spouse, they are here. The last name's in a separate column. The address is okay to be together, but then I have an address too. I don't actually have any. I try to get them all in together if possible, just makes it easier. City, state, and zip all should be separate, and then the phone numbers, which we're not going to actually use, but that's okay. I can have them in here and still use this file for my addresses. One thing I want to do is I want to format this as a table, because when I transfer this to Word, it's going to just work easier for me. So formatting as a table, you just come up here on the Home tab, click Format as a Table, choose a file, doesn't matter which one. Make sure that it says my table has headers. It's automatically going to select all my data because I have no blank rows within my data, including in between my column headings and my data. I'm going to make sure that it says my table has headers is checked, because that's going to make these my column headings, and click OK. Now my data is set up in a table. You can see I get this Table Tools tab up here. When I click off of my table, that disappears. Not a big deal. So over here, if you wanted to, you can come and rename your table. So I'm going to name this Addresses. Not a big deal. You don't have to change it. It'll just say this. Stay the table name. Okay, right now I'm all set to complete my merge. So we're going to do that by using Word. So I'm going to open Word and we're going to go to Mailings. And we're going to use Start Mail Merge, and you're going to click this little down arrow. I always use a step-by-step mail merge wizard because that brings it up over here and walks me through what I need to do. The first thing is, what type of document are you working on? We're going to create labels, and that's all you need to do. So it just says click next to continue. Okay, I can do that. That's pretty easy. So the next thing is we want to change this document layout. So we want this document to change how we want to do it. So we don't have to do anything here. On this one, we're going to go click our label options. Now on the box of labels that you had, there should be some numbers. A majority of them in the US, people will use Avery, and there are different, up here you can change your vendor up here if you need to. I'm going to leave it as Avery. My label number is 5160. That's 30 labels per sheet. And it also gives you the details here. If you want to see more of the details, you can come and look here. Don't need to if you don't want to. If you want to change something, you can a little bit. But we're just going to say OK, because Excel and Word are pretty good at knowing what they need to do. So the next thing I want to do is I want to select my recipients. Okay, so we're to that page. We're going to use an existing list. We've already created our recipient list in Excel. I do have that file open. Doesn't matter, but we're going to come down here and then browse. So you're going to go find the file that you saved. It's the same one that I have open, but you have to find it within your directory. Because I have this set up as a table, it's going to come up OLEDB database files, and that's fine. We just click OK. It's named Addresses because on my Excel down here, I named my tab Addresses. So yours may say Sheet 1 if you haven't changed this down here. Doesn't matter. It'll come out the same way. So I'm just going to say OK. This modified doesn't matter. It is a table because we created a table. And my first row of data contains my column headers. So make sure if this is checked, only if, make sure there's no blank rows up here before your column headings, before your table starts. That'll mess things up for you. So, and I can click OK. And in comes all my labels, or all my addresses. If you don't want a certain person, like this one I don't have an address with, I can unclick her and she won't print. I have a couple more that I don't have addresses for, so I'll unclick that one. And I'll leave a couple in there to show you what happens. So we'll leave this is Tim Grzinski just because I know who it is. And we're going to go OK. So that's really all we need to do for that portion. It's already selected all our information. If you wanted to edit the list after you were in there, you just click edit and it brings you right back to where you were, and you can redo some of these. Then we're going to arrange our labels is the next thing we want to do. So the first thing you need to do is set up, because we're doing labels, we just need an address block. And the first thing we need to do, I'm going to come back to label 1, we need to match our fields. So right now my first name is not matched, so I'm going to come up and I'm just going to click on first name. Not sure why that's not matching. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. My address and address 2, city, state, and zip are all here, so that's good. And I'm going to scroll down and see if I have my spouse. Yep. When I get to spouse and partner first name, it did come up with spouse, so I'm good here. So I'm going to click OK. So if your things aren't matched, you just need to come down and find them in here. And you're good. So we can say OK. The other part of how you want your label to look, so if you want your spouse's name, the first name and the spouse's name, you need to select one of them down here that has that. So I'm just going to kind of go with casual and just say Josh and Cynthia. My first record only has one name, so it's a little bit deceiving. So I'm going to go look at my second record. It says Arnie and Ginger, and my third one says Bruce and Linda. So I know that's working. I'm going to come back to label 1, otherwise sometimes it does not want to print them for you. So we've got our fields matched. We've changed how we're going to do that. We're all set. We can click OK. Now, the thing is, we just created our label block, so we have an address block here and we just have next record here. It's not going to do anything until you come here. You can copy the layout of the first label to the other labels on the page by clicking the button below where it says update all labels right in the middle over here. You need to click that and watch what it's going to do to our labels. See how it just added address block to each one. So what it's doing is it's looking at the first record, it's going to the next record, it's looking at that record, then it's going to the third record and printing that here. So we've now got that all set. We can say preview your labels. To me they look pretty good. Now this is the one I said Tim Grzinski I don't have an address for right now, but that's okay. But you can see that they seem kind of close to the edge. So what happens a lot of times with these files is they will print directly on the cutoff. So I highlight the entire page and you can see that it's all blue. And I come down and I grab the little square underneath this and I move it over 2 clicks usually. And what that does is it moves over all the information, so it's not going to print right on the edge, so it won't be on that cutoff when you peel that label off. I call it a little timer. So I clicked the square under the timer and moved it over 2 clicks. And that moved my labels over all of them. So we're all set. Now I can complete the merge. The next thing you do, you're all good, is you click print. You can print all your records, a current one, or just certain ones. So you can select that, and these are the numbers that you're going to select. So I would say 1 to 5 if I didn't want to print them all. Otherwise I can come back up here and just select all and say OK. It'll ask you where you want to print them. And this is all set up for me, so you select your printer. If you want more than 1 copy, you can make 2 copies if you want to have them for something else. And click OK. And I just printed all my labels. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope this has saved you some time and frustration of printing out your envelopes this year. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. This is Tina Grzinski, your efficiency expert with Excelling Your Business. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.